Hello everyone! Welcome back to Archon Quest Act or Chapter 4, Act 5, Masquerade of the Guilty. After last time meeting the Hexen Circle or one of the member, which is Anne, and we finally learned who is she. Now, next one is Apocalypse. Well, we kinda learned about her. The last time, a lot of chat, we know she is the one that helped us or guide us or tell us about the result and stuff on Sumer and stuff like that. And yeah, and a riot have happened, a little somewhat riot I guess, and we know that's a trap. And yeah, now Furina is
This
running.
place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation.
Now we're just searching for
Could
Furina.
Furina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
I mean, I got like that's kind of not that hard. I already spot her. But I'm guessing she is here to like say sorry that she couldn't do anything at that time. It feels like it. Cause why will she come here, right? Yeah, clueless, don't know what to do other than just wait it out.
That's Furina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Stay quiet for now. I'm guessing we're gonna notice something. Again, I don't know if it's acting or not, but it's just as you can see, Furina is just in the end of the day, she is a god. Yes, I know, but she have a lot of burden on her shoulder and just so sad. Thank you. That's one way to say silent.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless.
What does that mean? Don't end it here. Don't end your line here.
What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead.
Again, too much burden for her.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Right? Not like this part. I'm gonna cry, I swear.
Give up, Furina. There's no point in holding out.
It's whether she noticed us. Yeah, again, I don't know. I don't want to call her acting, but at the same time, it's just I don't want to believe that she is. I don't know, like this right now.
I'm sorry.
I'm also so sorry.
But what can I even do? Other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over.
Furina.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Furina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects, come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
I just don't like the part when you are in trouble, have a lot on your shoulder, but you still try to wear that mask to I don't know to just let yourself to seem strong.
Furina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
Yeah.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it.
I thought you were gonna say like, ha ha ha, that's my pupil. That's not my well tears.
Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts.
I wanna say like you can trust us.
They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Maréchaussée Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
It's okay. You can stop trying to act tough, Furina. You're actually beyond devastated right now, aren't you?
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
I'm gonna protect her.
Quick, after her!
Furina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't way.
No, you need to run.
That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Furina just ran off!
Okay, then.
Quick, we have to catch up with her!
We have to? Yeah, we have to. Okay. Up. Still running. We become the box. It's a prop hunt now.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Furina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
With what?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
I don't know what does that part mean. Like, what is this place? Like, did you just come to your sense or what happened? But who knows? Okay, we're hiding together. A confined room. It's me and Furina and Paimon. It's not awkward at all. Yeah, this is normal. And it's pretty small actually. The room.
Paimon's exhausted.
You are flying.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
I hope whoever that's outside cannot hear us. This place is not what I'd call soundproof. Yeah. You might want to lower your voice to stay hidden.
You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
That's not good.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
I'm guessing this is the trap. Another disaster just struck, I suspect.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Novelette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, but how about us?
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already...
Has Rena finally reached her limit? Now that she is talking about her actual feelings, she is starting to look far less stiff. You begin to talk amongst yourself as Rena slowly calms down.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years.
Oh, I feel so bad. She have tried to do a lot of stuff. She have tried.
I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me.
But they are all gone.
I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
But even then, you still haven't given up, right?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free.
Does that mean we're trying to change the fate from the heavenly principle, not from Furina? I see. So does that mean back like in 1,000 years, who knows how long, Egeria is praying the principle, yeah, the heavenly principle to stop the float for that time, like give them time, or at least let us live for this much 100 years left, and Egeria hope that people in the future will solve this. Who knows? Also, but that will also mean that all hope will disappear.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson.
Oh, I see. That's why you said should you give up.
Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late.
You can still do something.
Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end.
There you go. That's the Furina that I like. Until that happens.
Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all.
We are back with this Furina.
Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Yeah, okay.
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
She is probably is, and she noticed that we're, I don't know, getting somewhere with secret and stuff. We're running out of time. We cannot just go back to square one like this. I have to get more information out of her. Furina. Furina, you might not have to shoulder the burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everybody, but your people are more than willing to share your burden with you. You are not alone.
Share my burden.
Don't shoulder everything alone.
That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even so, even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone or with people. Just share it with me. I'm what you call a witness. We are the witness of fate, I guess.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here.
Does that mean every single god knows about that? I guess so.
And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you?
It's true. Yeah, that's actually the case. Again, for guys I know, it's already showed in the past stories that we come with our brother from the stars.
If that's the case...
There's no time left. Please, just speed it out. Please. Not your saliva, your secret.
I...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance.
This is awkward. Oh, come on, we are so close. Why did trap have to be... Linny's entrance, by the way, cool with the animation, but still!
Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
Oh, you're gonna be kidding me. I was heart to heart there.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, You will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Yeah, I see. Okay, for now, it's not great at fighting. I feel so bad now. The trap is starting.
You would draw your blade against a god?
Well, yikes.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
The people are gonna be like, oh my god, the god is about to do something. She is about to make everybody wet. But never mind.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
She is cornered. She got too much burden. She want to give up.
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Furina, what is the meaning of this?
Shh. It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
Come on, you don't have to go with this.
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time.
I'm gonna hate these NPCs for screaming at her.
I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson.
We see Lynette
It
on
is
the
my
right.
duty to stand trial for my crimes.
We see Lynette on the right side. I see Charlotte and also Navia on the left side. I don't know if you can see Charlotte, but Charlotte is dead as well.
You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve.
I'm surprised that the knave is not here actually.
I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
Dang, what a word. I love that.
This time, I will protect you.
Who is you?
Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, this shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Okay.
Woohoo! Oh, now we're making history.
Why does it feel like Furina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Well, this is awkward, isn't it? All of this is a trap. Thank you, Your Honor. I hope you did not feel betrayed at all.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
If she is a god, or if she actually know what is going on, it's pretty bad, but I have a feeling that she is deep inside like, just feel betrayed maybe. We were so close getting her to tell us the truth, and it still turned out like this in the end. We don't have enough time indeed. It's okay. Though as long as we can defeat Furina in court, we'll still have a chance to figure everything out.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, We did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Thank you.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates.
Oh, it indeed happened. I love how they show this. That's awesome.
They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
It's kind of obvious for us, but well.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. Its cargo, of course.
And the earthquake is not the earthquake, or the whatever it's called. It is us moving.
Was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Furina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
I love her. At this point, I also gonna say that.
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
Yes. I don't know how slow you can catch that, but yeah.
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Sorry about that with the Sifu back there.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight.
Imagine like, no, as you know, the worst case scenario.
Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson.
Sadly, some of it is true, the rest is not.
You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
No, you guessed wrong.
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance. We hope that you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage. But and then, it's too late.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Yeah, the only thing we can do now is to judge the Hydro Archon. Still, I cannot help but a little bothered by the conversation earlier. What if Runa want to say to me right before we arrive on the stage? I know, right? It's always that moment.
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte!
I don't know if I noticed in the first glance, but it's an AI. Yeah.
Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine!
To prove that she done absolutely nothing, I guess?
So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
Oh, it's a super practical gift. I never would have thought of using this in this way anyway.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Oh, are we gonna start doing...
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, alright?
Yes, wow.
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very
All
first
of
duels.
these.
I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think.
Trust me, you don't want to see that.
According to Monsieur Nervillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time.
Oh. The drawing is literally the cutscene, gotcha.
I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
I mean, we only know as the end and there's literally no body physics.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
Because she already have a burden. I don't like to push her too much to the corner, but seems like that's gonna be the only way.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted.
So, fake identity?
Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
Guessing that's not wrong. So we know that truth.
Lady Furina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Furina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Furina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
She can be super irresponsible, bruh.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory.
What?
See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
There's no life if we didn't do it. So.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Furina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
The people only see you as their Archon, because that is their long-held belief. You don't have to be the Archon in order to get that.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am?
The Knave already told us in the past.
And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
I've got to think carefully. What do we know to be special about Furina exactly? Oh. Irrelevant, I see. I have to select. But my guess is the Knave. Whole reason being, try to assassinate, there's no gnosis. During the diplomatic meeting with the Knave, she revealed that she had already probed Furina on her own, and believed it's possible that not only is Furina not really the Archon, but that she is actually afflicted with some sort of curse instead.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the Knave? You'd sink so low as to use a Harbinger's words against me.
It doesn't matter who gave us the information. What matters is the ferocity of the claim. Also, we never said the Knave. What did the Knave do to you?
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Ooh, Nervlet is in with us.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervlet?
So, Furina, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Lady Furina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods.
So it's about gnosis now then.
For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, that one trial proved the opposite. Furina actually has no control over the Oratrice at all. Oh, I have no idea. Child's conviction. The truth behind the serial disappearance of young women. I wonder what happened if we are wrong actually.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Yeah, again, Furina was like, wait, what happened?
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
Oh, we know Furina trusts or just see Nervlet as super important person. But well...
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
Alright, Paimon, it's Paimon, too much. Calm down.
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Well, sure, we can put the Oratrice aside for now. But then, Miss Furina, could you give us a brief demonstration of your power as an Archon? Gnosis, for example.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
Nervlet.
You don't need to go that far.
Just a brief demonstration of your power over Hydro should be quite harmless. After all, Fenty have showed us his power before, so yeah. Surely, an Archon can at least match the capacity of human with a vision, right? Oh, I'm guessing... I see.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
I'm too scared that she cannot control her power, but I don't think that's the case.
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium!
What?
Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
I actually have.
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Anti-jungling. I guess, yeah, it's possible actually.
It seems like nobody's buying Furina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Furina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please, you've got to believe me.
Oh, she is desperate now.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Alright, buddy. Okay, buddy. Let us not bring that up.
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
Actually, I have no idea for this part. Nervalet is. If we can prove that she isn't the Archon, we can try to prove that she is just a human. And if she is only human, yeah, if she is only human, she will disappear with Primordial Sea. Actually, I have no idea. This one maybe? The entrance of Primordial Sea is still beneath the Forbidden Zone. The fortress of Merope and recently Primordial Sea has nearly broken out. It was temporarily pushed back by Nervalet is power. Ah.
That doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think this clue can be used as compelling evidence to build our case.
I'm just curious what happened if we are wrong. Alright. It's whether the Primordial Sea stuff or part of house is identity? Actually, I have no idea for this part. I'm so clueless. Yeah, Navia. I mean, yeah, the truth behind the serial case.
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the Primordial Sea. And that means...
Yeah, that's why. I know the Primordial Sea, but I just don't know which one is it, because all of them are connected to Primordial Sea except Lini one.
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn.
Even though this is just a trap, Nervalet had enough. Navia have been breaking like a bunch of time.
Now,
I like the super sorry.
I brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater?
Oh, it's actually the Primordial Sea.
If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case.
Oh, the prophecy. The third prophecy is a lot of people circling Furina. The prophecy meant people are holding a court or a trap for her like this to touch or to disappear with the Primordial Sea water.
But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse.
So that's what it meant when people are circling her.
Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
She will. But she is scared. Please don't do it. Furina, I'm just scared that she's like, you know what, I gave up. Might as well just do this.
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
She wants to prove herself.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
Yeah, right, shut up. You might be a problem here.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
Hey!
She actually...
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved!
I am scared that might not be the case.
Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really, was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you are present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Wanna check if she is okay or not.
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see.
Aw, Siegewin.
That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
How is her condition?
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
We know she always acts strong, that's why we need somebody that can see through witches' mallusions. And Siegewin don't wanna lie. I don't think so anyway.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh wait, what did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur.
Okay, luckily they already think about that. I also want to say, like, you prepare all of this fancy stuff, but you forgot about that. Or didn't even think about what if Furina will do that, because obviously she will. Huh.
We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Furina could have...
I can't believe... You...
But what's really going on here? Furina could have not known the consequence of touching that water as a human. Why did she still do it? This is too unlike how she usually acts. Plus, it's actually more important for her to keep up her fake hate than to save her own life. But hadn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me! Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater?
Because of the prophecy, you are alone, even though everybody's dissolved.
Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Because you give up? No, nobody believe.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I feel so bad to push her this far.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
She just give up now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Oh, and then the teaser trailer.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway her. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Furina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
It can be. Did the Oratrice just declare Furina to be innocent? My guess is not. To be executed.
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
But also display punishment.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
Because she cannot prove anything and she is just so wrong.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
Also, the shadow is weird.
Escalate this quickly.
I mean, yeah. Why? How?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah, even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
What's more strange is, instead of Furina, the Oratrice rendered judgment on the Hydro Archon. Right now we're trying to save her instead.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Oh yeah, also say Furina the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
What did Fremine find out?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
With some help from the other Fatui, Fremine bring a stone slate.
Is that the first prophecy slate?
Oh! So they reconstruct it.
Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water.
It's whether it's the daughter of the Archon, or it's just somebody that's being blessed or cursed to guide the people.
But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
It's okay, don't worry, the mystery hasn't been resolved yet. It's still not too late for you to shine. Also, again, Furina have been searching or finding out about this 1,000 years ago. They don't want to know them the truth about whether it's a curse or blessing that she is not the god.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate.
Again, this is the first slate. The second one is Egeria praying. The third one, well, Furina in the middle and a lot of people circling her. Last one is she's alone.
Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
I just saved up content, but sure, we'll do it again.
So what do you see? What is it?
This look like the previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power, turning the Oceanid into human being.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Oh, I didn't know that is because it doesn't look quite obvious. That's how she can live for a lot of years.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon.
Okay, Paimon, stop rubbing the salt.
So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kind of talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
An association between the contents of the slate and the events in real life. The last one is she is sitting on top alone. The third one is right now. The second one, praying, I have no idea. The first one, also I have no idea.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember.
I'm still remembering all of those. Oh, interesting. Okay. The real event.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. Huh. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
The stone slate in the ruin showing the prophecy describe history of the future, the first piece that was originally missing that has been found by Fremine. Verify truth. Oh. Can be dissolved by water, primordial sea. Judge him as a guild. The entrance of the primordial sea is sealed beneath the forbidden zone. Nervalet is power. Navia fell to the water, contain primordial sea, and communicate with you. The other Archon guilty to be punished via the death sentence. This one, I guess. I have no idea. Yeah, with you by correct. Justness. This is so hard.
That doesn't sound quite right. Let's think about this some more.
I have no idea. Human can be dissolved into waters.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial seawater And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve.
Oh. Okay, shows us still floating in the sky and the Hydro Archon and her people are praying. The stone slate in the ruin showing the prophecy describe history of the future. Second slate, judgment down upon the people.
That doesn't sound...
Really? I actually thought that's right. Never felt the water contain primordial seawater. Hydro Archon guilty to punish via death sentence the past sins and the current sins.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia as recorded on the stone slates.
That feels so bad. She hold a burden from the past. She had Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. Navia fell to water, primordial sea water.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
Does that mean the last one is guide from N? Showed a scene that basically identical to that described in the prophecy circulating throughout Fontaine. Fontaine will eventually be dissolved into the sea, and the Hydro Archon will sit alone on her throne and weep. Judge him as guilty. I feel like this.
That doesn't...
Nope. And this then.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light. It now, so that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
The first slate reveals that Fontainians are not real humans. They come from Oceanid.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
I feel I just revealed something that's not that great.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
The second slate revealed that the crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontainians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission.
Creating her own nation.
That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
As for the third slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
The fourth slate depicts the fulfillment of the prophecy as it's already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Yeah, and the storytelling and showing that is so awesome. For some reason, that just add extra stuff.
Did Paimon get all that right?
Yeah.
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source.
Which is the one that Nervalet have been trying to do.
When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion.
Oh, so now he can.
Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
I see. Long and behold.
Well? Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
Well, I know that, but my main character say that. So they are in the right order? What is the third slate supposed to represent then?
A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids.
Oh. But it's so cool that they actually make Nervlet's animation to, do the thing.
They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is
Discord.
That the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
Again, I already guessed this. It can be.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
No, I mean, it cannot be. I'm telling the truth. My hypothesis was correct. Yep.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy,
we are doing the part.
In truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
I don't know. It feels like there's no way out of this, now that this happened. The last slate is probably her alone.
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
You can hear Cloran that don't have a feeling is scared now. Well, she got a feeling, but I know what I mean.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
I think it already fulfilled. Maybe she's on top alone right now.
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes?
Don't tell me it was actually Furina the one that... No.
However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
Is it the whale? I have? Could it be the whale?
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
Okay, this one is actually a long one. I didn't know that. I'm gonna separate this part into two parts, by the way, so yeah. Anyway. Oh no, it's definitely the last one. It's warning us about the whale in the dream. Yikes.
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Crazy, right? It's so big. Bro, that cutscene is so good, but Child have spent too much energy there. That's right. I'd wager that it's also the one that Child saw when he was young.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here.
We have made we have met last. You already know this is gonna happen.
That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
Oh, so that's how Furina is alone.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
Are all of us gonna fight together? I'm looking forward for that.
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner.
So he have been fighting this whole time.
From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
Since the first time he arrived there.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
How about we talking about Child is dying and how about trying to help him? It's like, yeah, he's dying. It's alright. Let's just try to stop the prophecy. How about that?
It is too late.
What do you mean? It already too late. It already happened. We already pushed Furina to the edge.
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
Oh, what does that mean? I'm gonna meet this well somewhere else?
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
And also another thing is, why is Charlotte not here? This part is a good newspaper, by the way.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
After everything, it still turned out like this. We couldn't fight against fate. Wait, what if this is all about fate?
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall?
AKA inside the portal. Or the whale hole.
Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Could it be that even the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Furina. What was it that she wanted to say to me at that last moment in the Jan magic box. What did she want to say? What is her real secret?
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
You.
Who are you?